So YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet. It is massive, only second to Google. Like Google, YouTube has a process of organizing its content. YouTube has clearly become a large platform for pundits and influencers to speak on political issues and the current state of the political climate. YouTube's algorithm, which highly relies on SEO, which we're going to get into, search engine optimization, if you do not know what that is, plays a significant role in political content on the platform, what is recommended to you, and why content is often so biased, partisan, and often includes information that is not factual. Essentially, it needs to pick what it's going to give you when you type in the search bar, what it's going to recommend to you, etc. With Google, you type in your search term and it's trying to give you the most relevant result. YouTube is no different. Essentially, what this means is based on the information you feed YouTube, it'll output what content it thinks you're most likely to look for. So what an SEO is essentially search engine optimization. There's several websites that will help you with this, where you can type in titles and it will generate AI titles, or reorganize your titles to have more relevant or clickbaity terms in them to grab the attention of viewers. This means that a lot of YouTubers who are successful in the platform, who have search engine optimization, platforms they go to, or managers, they actually hire people to do this. They'll help come up with and schedule content. They'll look at what is currently trending in the YouTube space. What content are people looking for? So what this incentivizes is to not go on what type of content you want to make, but go off of what type of content is going to get views. So a lot of times you'll find that a lot of YouTubers, they need to consistently get a schedule. They need to constantly put out video after video after video to keep viewers coming back, and it needs to be consistent. So one of the main things that drives your chances of getting recommended is engagement. So your title needs to be real solid, it needs to be clickbaity. And it also matters whether or not people are watching the video for a long period of time. So it also takes into account likes and dislikes. And even if a video is ratioed, so to speak, with a lot of dislikes, it can still be recommended. So the basis of what they're looking at is what is getting a response, what is keeping people's eyes dialed in, so that way they can show more ads, etc., keep people on YouTube, keep people watching. And because of this, you have a lot of channels that are looking for a reaction. Just like mainstream media, political commentators on YouTube are often very, very biased and driven by their own political agendas. And this also influences the type of research they do and the end product they end with when they put up their videos. It can result in one-sided narratives, cherry-picked information, and sensationalism that misrepresents facts and perpetuates polarization. Now, a lot of times you'll find with polarization is that solving it will end up stopping your content. If you're not mad about gay couples kissing in movies, you think that doesn't bother you, then why make a video? So you're going to keep complaining about it for the next 6 years and onward.
I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Sensationalism and clickbait are tactics not exclusive to mainstream media, but also very exclusive to YouTube. It's very prevalent here. Sensationalized video titles, thumbnails, and descriptions are often used to grab attention and generate views, even if it misrepresents the actual content of the video. I'm sure many of you have clicked on videos outside of political content that had a clickbait title and it had nothing to do with the video that you actually got. And it is quite annoying when that happens. But oftentimes they'll sensationalize or be extremely dramatic about a certain subject in the title to get people angry. And then upon looking into it and finding more information, it's not as egregious as you would expect. So unlike traditional journalism, which follows editorial standards and fact-checking processes, political content on YouTube may lack proper fact-checking and verification. A lot of YouTubers are just, I'm going to be honest, normies. Like you and me. Many creators rely on personal opinions, anecdotes, and unverified sources, which can lead to the spread of misinformation and conspiracy theories. It's crucial for viewers to fact-check and verify information from multiple credible sources before forming opinions or making decisions. One of the concerning aspects of political content on YouTube is the creation of echo chambers. So eventually what you're trying to do on YouTube is to gain a subscriber base. And a lot of people who hit subscribe want more of your content. The end result of this is you essentially have channels with similar polarizing beliefs being recommended to the same person's feed. So what it ends up with is a loop of just radicalization, of people being pushed further and further and further, leading them down rabbit holes of conspiracy theories, false information, things that are not verified because they keep getting information from biased sources. Now, with the mainstream media, it is very similar, where oftentimes they'll cater to their audience. Fox News is definitely always going to have conservative takes. CNN is always going to have liberal takes. Why? Is because they're trying to appeal to a certain market, their target demographic. Now, just like mainstream media, YouTubers have target demographics. They try to optimize their content to meet what their viewers want, which the end result of that is extremely biased takes, and sometimes just, quite frankly, fucking ridiculous takes that are just outright offensive. You have people like Brandon Tatum, for example, who likes to malign victims of police brutality and prop up officers who are cowards. Here's him doing it right now.
I'm not the one that shot nobody. I'm giving a synopsis based on my training and experience. And I will argue that 99% of the people who have negative things to say wasn't a cop, never put on a uniform, didn't look at any of the investigation, didn't watch the DPS director talk to Congress for 4.5 hours. You don't know the door jam situation. You ain't looked at nothing. You ain't heard the Uvalde police chief speak. You didn't look at his article. You ain't heard the transcripts. 99% of the people who are talking out of turn.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure.
The director of the Texas Department of Public Safety insisting police could have stopped the deadly attack 3 minutes after it began.
The only thing stopping a hallway of dedicated officers from entering room 111 and 112 was the on-scene commander, who decided to place the lives of officers before the lives of children.
McCraw also saying officers wasted time searching for a key for a door that wasn't locked. While dozens of officers waited, kids were calling 911 from inside for over 40 minutes.
From the best of my knowledge in the investigation, they're responding to a barricaded subject, which was, in my opinion, a mistake on the police part. They should have been telling them and making it very clear that they're responding to an active shooter. That's why I do not care. You can put 77 minutes all you want. You can put cowards all you want. You can say I'm wrong all you want. I'm still Brandon Tatum. I still have a syndicated radio show all across the world. And I still got almost 2 million subscribers. And by the time you finish crying, I'll have 2 million subscribers.
Later on, you'd even try to justify it. Here's him trying to justify it right now.
All of the footage that just came out, the body-worn camera footage, literally made me smile to a certain degree. It's very sad that these kids lost their lives, but to see the police response was incredible. And I'll say this, and I know some of y'all are going to get mad. Stop comparing this to Uvalde. I'll talk about that later. As you can see, there has to be multiple officers moving in multiple directions to find this threat. Multiple. Because the two officers' body cam that we see are both engaged in the shooting, and they ended up in the same spot. They're not in the same spot right now. So they have way more resources than Uvalde. This is way more police officers. It's not a lot of stimuli. They're not locked in a situation where they have locked doors and all of this old crazy stuff, and 5 or 6, 7 agencies coming together. Nobody can communicate. The radio don't work in the hallways. It's a very different scenario.
First floor. Hold there, y'all. Somebody hold there.
Bad tactics here. But, I get it. It's the heat of the moment. Some of these guys probably don't even work together. But the way they open that door is that's not a good way to do it. You gotta, the guy on the rifle need to be posted. The guy with the handgun, swing the door open, let the guy on the rifle take lead. I don't think it's a need to cross in front of the guy with the rifle.
And you'll never take accountability. He'll tell you, hey, you've never been an officer, so you cannot tell me what it's like to be an officer. You don't have the training. You're just like a dude at home sitting in your fucking chair and not actually knowing anything about being a police officer. Well, sir, you've never been president of the United fucking States, so I suggest you sit the fuck down and not criticize Joe Biden, because you haven't been the president. You haven't even been in Congress. So quite frankly, I do not think you're educated enough to speak on anything the president, any legislation that is passed whatsoever when it comes to fucking gun reform, you name it, anything. You certainly haven't drafted any bills. So clearly you cannot speak on any legislation that is being voted on in Congress. You just can't do it. Both creators and viewers have a responsibility when it comes to political content on YouTube. You are an audience member. You have the option to vote on what content gets popular. What you consume, what you hit the like button on. Quite frankly, all of this, the state of the mainstream media, is your fault. The state of YouTube is your fault. Everything is your fault. Like, essentially. Social media, if you feel it's problematic, it's your fault because you're using social media. We're not going to competitors. We're taking this platform because it's set up, there's people already here, and it's convenient. But you have the option to choose what you consume on YouTube, to choose who you're subscribed to. So please hit the like button and subscribe while we're at it. I would love to have you a part of I don't know what I call my subscribers. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. It's going to be fun.
I've been cordial, but I'm going to tell you this is disgusting. God loves the oppressed and children died. What are you talking about? This is disgusting, Brandon. How dare you give insight into tactical experience that you have? How dare you tell us the truth and you speak up with the information that you know based on the investigation? How dare you? How dare you, Brandon?